Hi, I'm Victoria and I'm a child psychiatrist. And today I'm talking about step 2 of the parent powers, which is all about thinking about your own past and how it influences your parent powers now. And actually today I'm going to talk about the three main myths around attachment because of course attachment is something that affects you as well, so it's important to understand. So if you'd like to hear about what those myths are and what I think about them, stay tuned. Of course, we all hear about attachment. Attachment parenting is something that's very popular, and we often hear about it, but we don't always know exactly what attachment means. And I think it's important to really bust some of the myths that are around here. I talk a lot to parents about attachment, and they all have different ideas about it. Even people who might be medics or professionals who work in the field, they don't always fully understand how attachment works. So I thought about three things that I hear about often that I wanted to really get into and think that they're not strictly speaking true. So the first thing is that if you use parent techniques that are attachment techniques, that your child will definitely have a secure attachment. And this isn't really strictly speaking true. Actually, if you look at the evidence for how secure attachment is developed, there isn't that much to suggest that a lot of the techniques that are suggested in attachment parenting books actually necessarily work. I know that slings definitely do have some evidence behind them, but the other evidence is often really mixed. And actually, the main thing that predicts attachment in your child is your own attachment style. So, if you have an insecure attachment style, but you're using attachment parenting techniques, you won't necessarily get a secure attachment because the way you interact with your child will be affected by your own attachment style. Even if you're doing all the right things, the quality of the interaction will be affected. So, actually, what's really important is to think about yourself and to work on your own attachment style. And that's the second myth, really, that the myth that you form an attachment style in the first year of life and that's it. You know, if you happen to have an insecure one, tough luck, nothing anyone can do about it. You're just scuppered. And that's actually not true at all. So, yes, you do form an attachment style by the first year of life, by the end of that first year, and it can be measured. But it doesn't mean that this cannot change. It is harder to change. The older you get, it is harder to change. It's easier to form the secure attachment style, right to start off with. But actually, if you have an insecure attachment style, this is something that can change as an adult even. You can acquire a secure attachment style through having different relationships, sometimes through therapy. There's other ways of doing it. Equally, if you developed a secure attachment style early on, you could develop an insecure attachment style if you happen to have a very difficult relationship, especially an abusive one, that can actually lead to you developing an insecure attachment style later on in life. So that is not as set in stone as I think many people believe, and it can be altered. And actually, because that's something that's really important for your own interaction with your child, it is something really worth thinking about for you as a parent, is thinking about your own attachment style. The third myth is all about how much time you spend with your child, and I think often parents feel like they have to spend all of their time with their child, otherwise they're not going to develop a secure attachment. Well, actually, that's not true. The most important factor in attachment is sensitivity, and you need to spend enough time to be sensitive to your child to know what their cues are, but that doesn't mean you have to spend all of your time with them. And actually, how sensitive you are, how much time you need to be sensitive to cues, will be very individual. It'll depend on different people. Some people just pick up cues a lot easier, others just take a bit longer, might need a bit more time. So actually, you can be a sensitive parent without spending all your waking hours with your baby. So you don't have to worry that if you don't spend all your time with your child, they will not develop a secure attachment. There's really no evidence for that at all. The evidence is very much for sensitivity. And actually, if you having some time away from your child to do something for yourself makes you a more sensitive parent, and often it probably will do, that's actually much more important. So time on its own is not a factor, it's the sensitivity that you have towards your child's cues and then how you respond to them. That's really important. So I would really love to hear which one of those surprised you the most, whether it's about using attachment parenting, whether it's about the fact that actually that attachment styles can change throughout your life, or whether it's the last thing, that time is not the main thing when it comes to attachment. I would love to hear in the comments below, so let me know.